Hello everyone, welcome to Time Classes. In this lecture, we'll continue to discuss current affairs as well as current affairs and some concepts related to economy and banking. So let's get started. Okay. So the first question that we have here on the screen is, which among the following has recently launched an artificial intelligence AI based chatbot which is called as Pi? So let's try and look at a few options in this case. Right. So Pi has actually been launched by National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI. Right. And Pi's the purpose of creating Pi is to create awareness around its products, NPCI's products like FASTag, RuPay, UPI, and AEPS on a real-time basis. Right. So that's the thing. So Pi is available round the clock, helping users with access to accurate information on NPCI products. Right. So when we talk about NPCI, it is actually an umbrella organization for all retail payments in India. So you have to understand that RuPay and UPI especially is very unique to India, and it's our technology. And nowadays, many companies in the US are now asking to implement something like what India has implemented in India. The UPI kind of a system, right? NPCI was founded in 2008, right? And its headquarters is in Mumbai, and the founder is Reserve Bank India and Indian Banks Association. So it's properly an Indian company, right? National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development, better known as NABARD, right, which we are already famous for, is an apex development financial institution in India. So basically, when it comes to rural development and all, that's where NABARD actually comes into the picture. It is entrusted with matters concerning policy planning and operations in the field of credit for agriculture and other economic activities in rural India. So if you want to start some entrepreneurship in the rural India, NABARD is there, which can actually help you out achieve your dreams, right? It was founded on 12th of July 1982, and it's again headquartered in Mumbai, right? And the current chairman of Mr. NABARD. So these are some of the data points that you should know. Any organization, when it was founded, at least the year, you should know about that, and you should know about the location of the headquarters, and you should definitely know about who is the chairman or the CEO or the leader of that particular company. In this case, the chairman is Mr. Harsh Kumar Bhanwala, right? Then we have Security and Exchange Board of India, Sebi, which is quite often in the news. Is the regulator of the securities and commodity market in India, owned by the government of India. So before that, a lot of scams related to the securities market used to be seen. After SEBI came into existence, those scams have actually decreased in number. It's almost nil nowadays, right? So that's the thing. It is entrusted with the responsibility to regulate the Indian capital market. So SEBI is on the line of Securities Exchange Commission of the SEC of the US, that also kind of looks after the stock market to ensure that there is no corruption actually happening. SEBI was founded on 12th of April 1992, and again is headquartered in Mumbai, and the current chairperson is Mr. Ajay Tyagi. The current chairperson is Mr. Ajay Tyagi of SEBI. Okay friends, so now the next one that we have on the screen is the Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India, which is again an autonomous statutory body, which is IRDAI, which is there in option 4. Let's try and understand about this organization. It is tasked with regulating and promoting the insurance and reinsurance industries in India. Right. It was founded in 1999, and it is headquartered in Hyderabad. And the chairperson of this organization is Subhash Chandra Khuntia. So Mr. Subhash Chandra Khuntia. Right. Okay. Then we have PFRDA, which is Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority of India. It was established to promote, develop, and regulate pension sectors in India when there was a specific requirement for regulation in this particular market. ठीक है ना? It manages the National Pension System, which is NPS, right? It was founded on 23rd of August 2003, right? And it is headquarters are located at New Delhi, and the chairman of PFRDA is Mr. Supratim Bandyopadhyay. Okay, so the organization which is responsible for launching Pi, the artificial intelligence based chatbot, is NPCI. It is NPCI. So the next question is, which of the following has launched Turant Customs? Central Board of Direct Taxes, Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, or Directorate of General of Foreign Trade? Or is it Reserve Bank of India? Or do you think it is Securities and Exchange Board of India? Turant Customs. Let's try and understand a few things. Right. So Turant Customs is launched by Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, which is CBIC. ये तुरंत कस्टम्स क्या है? It is a mega reform for the ease of doing business. So basically, when a lot of import actually happens, they get stuck, at the shipyards. Turant Customs will ensure that there's a faster post processing of all the customs and all the processes that needs to be done, and the goods can be sent to the people as quickly as possible. So it has, in the first phase it has been launched at Bengaluru and Chennai, right? And it then promises and then slowly and gradually it would be extended to all the ports where especially the international goods come, right? And it promises faster custom clearance through elimination of routine interface with the custom officers. And more so, let's say if all the custom officers in Chennai are busy, then the process of clearance can actually be conducted by a custom officer who is sitting in Bangalore as well. So it's a very high-tech kind of a system that they have launched for the faster clearance of the goods, so that it reaches the market sooner and business is not interrupted, right? Okay, now let's try and understand about Central Board of Direct Taxes, something which is more commonly seen by the people as part of the Department of Revenue in the Ministry of Finance, right? It provides essential inputs for policy planning of direct taxes in India, right? It is also responsible for administration of direct taxes, tax laws through the Income Tax Department. तो ये आप जो इनकम टैक्स के स्लैब वगैरह सुनते हैं, these are the things that come under Central Board of Direct Taxes, and indirectly we pay taxes by buying goods and products. It has been founded in 1944, right? And it is headquarters are located in New Delhi, right? तो ये चीज़ है. The current chairman of Central Board of Direct Taxes is Mr. Pramod Chandra Modi. Mr. Pramod Chandra Modi. Okay, then we have Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, the one that we just discussed. It is the nodal national agency responsible for administering customs, GST, central excise, service tax, and narcotics in India. So you can see there's a wider range of responsibilities in the Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. It was founded on 1st of January 1964. Right, quite late, and it is headquartered in New Delhi, and the current chairman is Mr. M. Ajit Kumar, right? That is your Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, right? तो ये चीज़ है. I hope it is clear, everybody. Then we have the Directorate of General Trade or Foreign Trade. He is responsible for administrating laws regarding foreign trade and foreign investments in India, right? It was founded in 1991, right? It is headquartered in New Delhi, and the Director General is Mr. Amit Yadav, right? The current Director General is Mr. Amit Yadav. Reserve Bank of India, we are all familiar with, is India's central bank, which controls the issue and supply of the Indian rupee. ठीक है ना? RBI is a regulator of the entire banking in India, right? RBI plays an important part in the development strategy of the government of India. So any development strategy that the government wants to come up, the Niti Aayog wants to come up, it definitely consults the Reserve Bank of India for that, right? And it was set up in 1935 during the time of the Britishers. It is headquartered in the headquarters are located in Mumbai. and the current governor of Reserve Bank of India is Mr. Shaktikanta Das. The current governor is Mr. Shaktikanta Das. Okay, so the Turant Customs has been launched by Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. तो ये तुरंत कस्टम्स, ये जो नाम जो कस्टम्स में है ना, इससे आपको हिंट मिलना चाहिए. Since customs is regulated by the Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs, and that should tell you that the answer is 2, right? Let's come to the next question. Which state has given state anthem status to Bande Utkala Janani? Bande Utkala Janani. Okay. Now the thing here is Bande Utkala Janani is an Odia patriotic poem written by Lakshmikanta Mohapatra. So he was the one who wrote it. ठीक है ना? Odisha cabinet on 7th of June 2020, that it was a Sunday, accorded this poem as state anthem status. And this is also something you should remember, that the Chief Minister of Odisha, erstwhile it was called as Odisha, but now it's called as Odisha, is Naveen Patnaik. Odisha became a state on 1st of April 1936. So that's also something that you should know. ठीक है ना? So here the right answer is Odisha, that is Odisha gave the state anthem status to Bande Utkala Janani. Okay friends, now let's come to the next question. Accounts which show an earlier signs to fall between the standard and substandard category are called, is it doubtful assets, is it loss assets, is it stressed assets, or do you think it is special mention assets, or do you think it is non-performing assets? Okay, now let's try and understand this particular question. Special mention accounts are those assets or accounts that show symptoms of bad assets quality in the first 90 days itself. The first 90 days में ही जो है इसमें आपके assets में जो problems हैं वो नज़र आनी शुरू हो जाती है. ठीक है ना? And it is an effort for early stress discovery of banks. So that's also something that you should know. It's an effort for early stress discovery of banks. So अभी NPA declare नहीं हुआ है, लेकिन हमें पहले ही पता चलने लगता है कि अच्छा इस asset में जो है कोई ना कोई problem होने वाली है. So that is called as special mention accounts. ठीक है ना? तो ये चीज़ है. Then we have, doubtful assets in this case. An asset would be classified as doubtful if it has remained in the substandard category for a period of 12 months. So doubtful assets का मतलब क्या है कि अब कभी recover नहीं हो सकता है. Then it's preferable that the bank writes it off rather than carrying the burden for a very long time. ठीक है ना? तो ये doubtful assets आपके आवाज़ हो जाते हैं. Loss assets is considered uncollectible and of such little value that its continuation as a bankable asset is not warranted, although there may be some salvage or recovery value. So एक बार चीज़ें जिसका ये डिक्लेयर हो जाती है doubtful assets, फिर वो loss assets की कैटेगरी में जाती है, उसके बाद उसे राइट ऑफ कर दिया जाता है. ठीक है ना? Okay friends, so next that we have is stressed assets. NPS plus restructured loans plus written off assets, these are stressed assets. There may be some salvage value or recovery value, but most often than not it is the thing which is already considered to be a foregone kind of a thing in this case. ठीक है ना? So that is your stressed assets, right? Then we have a non-performing asset. It is a loan or advance for which the principal or interest payment remained overdue for a period of 90 days. तो 90 days तक जो है कोई payment नहीं हुई है. So that is exactly a non-performing assets. ठीक है ना? So accounts which show an early sign to fall between the standard and substandard category are called special mention accounts. They're called special mention accounts. ठीक है ना? Where is the headquarters of National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, NIRDPR? Right. Let's try and understand about this particular organization. It is an autonomous organization under the Union Ministry of Rural Development, and it builds capacities of rural development functionaries, elected representatives of Panchayati Raj institutions, bankers, NGOs, and other stakeholders through interrelated activities of training, research, and consultancy. So basically, when we want to talk about building capacities at the ground level, at the root level, at the village level, this particular institute, National Institute of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj, comes into the picture, right? It is headquartered in Hyderabad, and the current Director General is Dr. W.R. Reddy. Dr. W.R. Reddy. ठीक है ना? So here the right answer is Hyderabad. It is located in Hyderabad. So the next question that we have is, the government of India has brought an ordinance to put all cooperative banks under the supervision of, is it going to be Reserve Bank of India, NABARD, Sebi, Government of India, or is it PFRDA? I think all the organizations we have dealt with before, so I'm not going to go deeper into that, but let's try and understand a few things. So the Banking Regulation Amendment Ordinance 2020, that was launched to bring all 1482 urban, 1482 urban cooperative banks and 58 multi-state cooperative banks under the supervision of the RBI. In the earlier Banking Regulations Act, these cooperative banks were spared, and only the other banks the normal banks were, brought under it. But now almost all the banks are brought under it, because we had Bmc Bank Scam we have seen in the recent times. So it is basically meant to combat those kind of scams that we have in the country. So basically, after this regulation, this ordinance was passed, it will give an assurance to about 8.6 crore depositors, which is something huge, and it is a move that will strengthen oversight of the lenders and prevent a Punjab and Maharashtra cooperative bank, Bmc Bank like fraud, right? So cooperative banks can be very dangerous when they are not governed by the Banking Regulation Act, right? So the government, which has brought an ordinance to put all cooperative banks under the supervision of, and these kind of cooperative banks are now going to be supervised by the Reserve Bank of India. Okay, now let's come to the next question. Which is the first bank to launch India's first mobile app-based facility for opening current accounts? It is going to be IndusInd Bank. Is it going to be Idfc Bank, First Bank, or is it going to be Bandhan Bank? Is it going to be Axis Bank, or is it going to be Icici Bank? Right. Well, IndusInd Bank is the first bank in India to introduce a mobile app-based process for opening current accounts in a few hours. So on the mobile app itself, you can open a current accounts in a few hours, right? The facility can be used to open current accounts of all kinds of business, including proprietorship, partnership, as well as private and public limited companies, among others, right? So all of these kind of accounts can be opened on the mobile app itself, right? IndusInd Bank offers commercial, transactional, and electronic banking products and services. It offers all of them, right? And it was founded in April 1994, right? And the headquarters of this particular bank is in Pune, right? And the owner is the Hinduja Group, and the founders is SP Hinduja. The current CEO of IndusInd Bank is Mr. Sumant Katpalia. So all of these names and the founding here about IndusInd Bank is very important, right? So it is headquartered in Pune. The owner is Mr. Hinduja Group, is the Hinduja Group. The founder is Mr. SP Hinduja, and the current CEO is Mr. Sumant Katpalia. The current CEO is Mr. Sumant Katpalia, right? Okay, now let's try and understand about Idfc Bank. Idfc Bank Limited, or you can just call it as Idfc Bank, is a professionally managed new private sector bank in India. These are all new banks, right? Because they started operation on 1st of October 2015, barely, a few years ago, right? It is again headquartered in Mumbai. The parent company is Idfc Limited, and then the current CEO is Mr. V. Vaidyanathan. Mr. V. Vaidyanathan is the current CEO of IDFC First Bank. ठीक है ना? तो ये चीज़ है. Then we have Bandhan Bank Limited. It's an Indian bank and financial services company, right? It was founded in 2001. It's headquartered in Kolkata, right? The founder is Mr. Chandrasekhar Ghosh, who happens to be the current CEO of Bandhan Bank as well, and the parent organization of this bank is Bandhan Financial Holding Limited, right? Then we have Axis Bank. Axis Bank is the third largest private sector Indian bank, and it offers a range of financial products. Right, the bank changed their name from UTI Bank Limited to Axis Bank Limited, with effect from July 30th, 2007, to avoid confusion with other unrelated entities with similar names. So UTI म्यूचुअल फंड एंड ऑल भी एग्जिस्ट करते थे उस समय जो है किसी और चीज़ में जो है थोड़ी स्कैम्स वगैरह भी हो गई थी, इसके कारण ये बैंक भी बदनाम हो रहा था. सो दे प्रेफरेबली थॉट ऑफ changing the name so that people don't confuse or associate this bank with other products. Right, it was founded in 1993 and the headquarters is in Mumbai. ठीक है ना. The CEO of this bank is Mr. Amitabh Chaudhary. ठीक है ना. तो ये चीज़ है. Then we have ICICI Bank Limited. It's an Indian multinational bank and financial services company, which we already know about. ICICI Bank, definitely. The founder is the Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India. So when you talk about ICICI, तो ये ICICI का जो है full form क्या है? It is Industrial Credit and Investment Corporation of India. So that is the founder company of this particular bank. Then we have it was founded in June 1994. Right, its headquarters is in Mumbai, and the current CEO is Mr. Sandeep Bakshi. Mr. Sandeep Bakshi. Right, that's the current CEO of ICICI Bank. So here the right answer is IndusInd Bank. Okay, which among the following has created Payment Infrastructure Development Fund? Payment Infrastructure Development Fund. Do you think it is SBI, is it RBI, or do you think it is Sebi, or do you think it is NABARD, or is it HDFC Bank? Let's try and understand a little bit. So Reserve Bank of India has announced the creation of rupees 500 crore Payments Infrastructure Development Fund, PIDF. PIDF has been created to encourage deployment of point of sale POS infrastructure, both physical and digital, in tier 3 to tier 6 centers and northeastern states. Right, so both physical and digital में तो physically भी सेल कर सकते हो, digitally भी सेल कर सकते हो, और ये सारे जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं ये क्रिएट होने चाहिए. ये नहीं कि वो जब बन रहे हैं तो उसी समय जो है आप इनको बना रहे हो, then there can be a lot of problem in that case. ठीक है ना. So here the right answer is of course RBI. Then we have which bank has launched Suraksha salary account for micro, small and medium enterprises? Is it the Fino Bank? Is it Airtel Payments Bank? Or do you think it is Paytm Payments Bank? Or do you think it is Jio Payment Bank? Or is it India Post Payment Bank? Let's try and understand a few things. I think by now you must have attempted. क्या लगता है आपको? What is going to be the answer for this thing? Okay, so technically Airtel Payment Bank on Monday, it launched Suraksha salary account, an innovative salary account service for the micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs. ठीक है ना. Organizations will be able to make cashless payments and provide a financial security blanket to their employees. Right, and it offers a wide range of benefits including hospital cash insurance and personal accidental insurance cover, given the low penetration of insurance in India. ठीक है ना. तो ये चीज़ है. Then we have Airtel Payments Bank. Let's try and understand a little bit about Airtel Payments Bank. It's the first company in India to receive a payments bank license from the RBI, and it became the first live payments bank in the country. That is Airtel Payments Bank, and it is headquartered in New Delhi, and it was founded in January 2017. The CEO of Airtel Payments Bank is Mr. Anubrata. It is Anubrata Bishwas. ठीक है ना. So that is the thing. Then we have Fino Payments Bank. It launched operations with 410 branches going live across 14 states in July 2017. ठीक है ना. And it originally formed as a domestic remittance and payment company under the guidance of ICICI Bank. So ICICI Bank was the it was a bigger brother of Fino Payment Bank, or maybe Fino Payment Bank was the subsidiary of ICICI Bank. Later it became an independent entity expertising in domestic remittances and digital payments. payments. Take it out. That is Fino Bank. And then as a payment bank, Paytm can now accept. So now Paytm, we have already been very familiar with payment, but it can now accept customer deposits up to rupees 1 lakh per customer in a savings or current account, and offer other banking services like debit cards, online banking and mobile banking. So ये सब चीज़ें ये कर सकते हैं. And then we have a Jio Payment Bank. Again, it's an Indian payment bank that started operation in 2018. And again, we have India Post Bank. It is a 100% government-owned public sector bank operating with the Department of Posts under Ministry of Communications, which aims to utilize all of India's 1,55,015 and 15 post offices as access point, and 3 lakh postal postmen and Grameen Dak Sevaks to provide house-to-house banking service. So India Post Bank, wants to be a game changer in this particular market. ठीक है ना? तो ये चीज़ है. So Payments Bank in India, so Payments Bank in India are a special category of banks. How are they special categories? They can accept deposits and make payments, but they cannot issue loans or other forms of credit, including credit cards. They cannot do that. Yeah, so payment banks are quite different as compared to the other banks. So they do not take much of risk, and the amount in which they have to function, that's going to be slow, at least for now. But we don't know whether later on what is going to happen. Now see, all of these initiatives by the government, why have they been launched? That the basic purpose here is that we should have more and more financial inclusion. If you go to the rural areas and all, right, people, they tend to save money, but they'll kind of put it in the mud, below the ground, and they'll hide it there. They'll hide it in their mattresses, they'll hide it in their cupboards, but they don't really go and access banks thinking or believing that it's a very complicated process, right? But then as more and more people participate in the banking system, then that money which is being kept under the ground, or it is being kept under the mattress and all, that money can actually come out from there, and it can actually participate in the economy. How can it participate in the economy? All of these things that come through a savings bank, then there is an average, there's an average which is calculated that kind of tells us that at one point of time, on an average, this much of cash will be in the savings bank account system, right? So based on that, then the government can decide, and the banks can also decide as to how much of money they should go about giving as loan and all. For example, during the demonetization phase, a lot of money was deposited in the bank, and the banks had a huge influx of money, right, because of which the interest rates had decreased, because they wanted to loan out the money as much as possible, right? So the interest rate on loans and all had actually decreased during that time, right? So the point is, with more and more payment banks and saving banks account reaching rural people, more such people would be able to participate in the market. So we have like 150 billion people in this country. 10% of the people are in the upper middle class, or they are rich. So if you remove about 10% of the people, basically about 15 billion people, you're left still with 135 billion people. Let's remove more number of people. Let's just keep it as like 100 billion people. So imagine if 100 billion people, they start contributing 100 rupees as savings account. So 100 rupees in the savings account by 100 billion people, that's going to be like 100 1000, that's going to be 10,000 billion rupees in the system. 10,000 billion rupees. Imagine what the government can do and how it can transform the economy because of that, right? So because of this participation of money during the Modi government, you would have seen that the government has not gone much to international organizations begging for money, so that we could have money that could be participated in the Indian economy. And because of this rise in income, it has been able to fund all the development projects in the country, fund projects like One Rank One Pension, because of which extra 10,000 to 20,000 crore burden that had come on the government. Okay, na? So this is all about the banking system. Anyway, so the bank which has launched the Suraksha Salary Account for micro, small and medium enterprises is the Airtel Payments Bank. Then we have CFMS, is a setup operated and maintained by the Reserve Bank of India (RBI) to enable operations on current account maintained at various offices of the RBI. So what is the meaning of C in CFMS? Is it current? Is it capital? Is it currency? Is it centralized, or is it collateral? Let's try and understand a few options here. So the Centralized Funds Management System, CFMS, is a system set up, operated and maintained by the Reserve Bank of India, and it is to enable operations on current accounts maintained at various offices of the bank. Thorough standard message formats in a secure manner. So that is what this thing does, right? So the C here is centralized. So the CFMS comprises two components: the centralized fund inquiry system and the centralized fund transfer system. So this is something you should know about the CFS, right? तो ये चीज़ है. So basically the C in CFMS here, the right answer is centralized. The right answer is centralized. Let's move further, everybody. Under the guidance of which union ministry the PM Swanidhi will be implemented? Is it Ministry of Finance? Is it the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs? Is it going to be the Ministry of Home Affairs? Or do you think it is the Ministry of Defense? Or do you think it is the Ministry of Civil Aviation? Let's try and understand a few things, everybody. So the PM Swanidhi scheme was launched by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs on June 1, 2020. It aims to provide affordable working capital loan to street vendors, to resume their livelihood that have been affected due to coronavirus. So because of the lockdown and coronavirus, many street vendors, they have gone out of work because they have no money. So this scheme tends to, address that. So this scheme aims to target over 50 lakh street vendors who would be eligible to avail of a working capital loan of about up to 10,000 rupees, which is still huge as far as these street vendors are concerned. So basically, under the guidance of Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, that PM Swanidhi Yojana was implemented. Then we have which country has launched a new initiative, a skilled workers arrival database for employment support? Is it India? Is it Kuwait? Is it Qatar? Is it Saudi Arabia? It is USA. This is actually an easy question. Has launched a new initiative, skilled workers arrival database for employment support. तो कहाँ skilled workers arrive हुए हैं जो migrate करेंगे ना? So the union government has launched a new initiative, Swadesh, which is skilled workers arrival database for employment support, to conduct a skill mapping and exercise of the returning citizens under the Vande Bharat mission. So as you might know, that during the Vande Bharat mission, the government of India actually brought back a lot of our citizens from abroad, so that they can be safe and secure within the country, right? So the Swadesh is a joint initiative of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, MSDE, the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and the Ministry of External Affairs. So they have all together brought out this Swadesh initiative. Take it now. So here the right answer is India, and the right answer is India. Okay friends, let's move forward. So which of the following offers the Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana? Vaya Vandana Yojana. Is it LIC? Do you think it is NABARD, or is it PFRDA, or is it Sebi, or is it IRDAI? So let's try and understand a few things, everybody. So Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana, PMVVY, it is a pension scheme announced by the government of India exclusively for the senior citizens aged 60 years and above, which was available from 4th of May 2017 to 31st of March 2020. The scheme is now extended up to 31st of March 2023 for a further period of 3 years beyond 31st of March 2020. ठीक है ना? So this is the Pradhan Mantri Vaya Vandana Yojana, PMVVY, right? So this scheme has been launched by LIC. It has been launched by LIC, and all the other names we have already treated before in the different slides. You may Go back to them and you can actually see them. Which of the following has partnered with a UK-based tech firm, Tropogo Limited, to launch India's first pay-as-you-fly insurance for drone owners in India? So drone owners pay-as-you-fly insurance for drone owners in India, Tropogo. So basically this particular scheme, SDFC Ergo has actually partnered, a general insurance firm has actually partnered with the UK-based tech firm Tropogo Limited to launch India's first pay-as-you-fly insurance for drone owners in India. So this policy, which can be offered on demand to commercial drone owners and operators, give life assurance for third-party liability claims. तो ये ड्रोन कहीं क्रैश कर जाती है, कोई मर जाता है, so they can give the third-party claims to these kind of people. So the scheme was launched on the SDFC Ergo. Life Insurance Corporation of India is a state-owned insurance group, which all of us know already, right? An investment corporation owned by the government of India, right? Its headquarters in Mumbai. It is founded in 1956. It's a very important data. The current chairperson is Mr. M.R. Kumar. So keep updating these names if they retire or they are changed. Okay. So the total assets that are managed by LIC is close to 31.12 lakh crores, or in other words, $450 billion in 2019. That is your LIC for you, everybody. Then we have Max Bupa Health Insurance Company Limited. Is an Indian health insurance company, right? It started as a joint venture between Max India Limited and Bupa, a British healthcare provisioning and multi-insurance company, right? It is headquartered in New Delhi, and then it was founded in 2008. And the current CEO of this Max Bupa company is, Health Insurance Company Limited, is Mr. Ashish Mehrotra. It is Mr. Ashish Mehrotra. And the parent organization for this company is, Federal Tone LLP. That is what it is known as. SDFC Ergo is a 51:49 joint venture, between SDFC and Ergo International AG, right? One of the insurance entities of the Munich Re Group in Germany, operating in the insurance field under the BFSI sector. ठीक है ना? Headquarters, it is headquartered in Mumbai. It was found in 2002. That's also something which is very important to know. The current CEO is Mr. Ritesh Kumar. ठीक है ना? And the parent organization is SDFC, of course, and the Munich Re company as well. Right. So here the right answer is SDFC Ergo. ठीक है ना? Which of the following has launched a real-time electricity market? Is it the multi-commodity exchange? Is it the Bharat Dynamics Limited? Do you think it is Indian Energy Exchange, or do you think it is the Coal India Limited, or can it be the NTFC Limited? Let's try and understand a few things. So energy trading platform Indian Energy Exchange launched the real-time electricity market RTM on its platform, right? So it has been launched by Indian Energy Exchange. This move will help utilities buy and sell power just an hour before the requirement. And the RTM also enables consumers, including distribution companies like discoms and captive users, to buy power on exchange just an hour before delivery. Okay, so that's quite an interesting concept that you have, and it has been launched by Indian Energy Exchange, right? So the Indian Energy Exchange is actually an electronic system-based power trading exchange regulated by the Central Electricity and Regulatory Commission. That's quite unique. Very few countries actually have electricity exchange systems. So this thing, brings India to the big league out there, right? It is headquartered in New Delhi, and it was founded in 2008. And the current CEO is Mr. S.N. Goyal. The current CEO is Mr. S.N. Goyal. ठीक है ना? Then we have our Multi-Commodity Exchange of India. Limited, and it is an independent commodity exchange based in India. So oil, many other commodities, cement and all are actually traded on this particular exchange, right? It is headquartered in Mumbai, and it was founded in 2003 actually. ठीक है ना? And the current CEO is Mr. P.S. Reddy. Okay, friends, let's understand the next option, which is Bharat Dynamics Limited. So Bharat Dynamics Limited is one of India's manufacturing of ammunitions, missile systems and other guided weapon systems, right? It was founded in 1970, right? I'm not going to talk much about locations or anything because it's a very, very sensitive organization for the country. Then we have Coal India Limited. It is a state-owned coal mining and refining and is the largest coal producing company in the world, and it's also a Maharatna public sector. It's headquartered in the headquarters are in Kolkata, right? The current CEO is Mr. Anil Kumar Jha. It is Mr. Anil Kumar Jha. The director is Mr. Pramod Agarwal, right? So that is your Coal India Limited. And of course, NTPC, National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, is engaged in the business of generation of electricity and allied activities. This is again headquartered in New Delhi, and it was founded in 1975. And the chairman and managing director is Mr. Gurdeep Singh. ठीक है ना? So the company that has launched real-time electricity market is Indian Energy Exchange. ठीक है ना? Then we have Jagdeep Syed Ishtiyaq Ahmed Jafari, who passed away recently. He was a politician, he was a bureaucrat. Was he an actor? Was he a lawyer? Or was he a journalist? ठीक है ना? Okay, so the point here is Mr. Syed Ishtiyaq Ahmed Jafari, better known as Jagdeep, that was his stage name. I think many of you must have, people at least in the 90s, they must have actually remembered him a lot. He was an Indian film actor and comedian who appeared in more than 400 films. That's how popular he was. ठीक है ना? Jagdeep died due to age-related ailments at his residence. So thankfully there's no foul play in his death. And Surma Bhopali wala jo character tha Sholay ka, Surma Bhopali, do you remember Surma Bhopali? So Jagdeep is better associated with that, but his real name was Syed Ishtiyaq Ahmed Jafari. ठीक है ना? So Jagdeep, he was an actor. So let's remember him by his stage name itself, Jagdeep, and it kind of brings a lot of emotions because he used to be really, really very funny, and he was a fantastic actor as well, no doubt about that. Then we have a World Health Organization. That's the next question, everybody. World Health Organization, WHO, recently announced the setting up of an independent panel to review its handling of the COVID-19 pandemic and the response by governments worldwide. Who among the following persons has agreed to head the panel? Is it going to be Ellen Johnson Sirleaf? Is it going to be Helen Clark? Is it going to be Jacinda Ardern? So let's try and understand different options out here. Right. WHO actually announced the initiation of the Independent Panel for Pandemic Preparedness and Response, IPPR, to evaluate the world's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. And the panel will be co-chaired with former Prime Minister of New Zealand, Helen Clark, and former President of Liberia, which is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Sirleaf, sorry. So Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is, she's a Liberian politician who served as the 24th President of Liberia from 2006 to 2018. Sirleaf was the first elected female head of state in Africa. So that is a huge achievement for Sirleaf, that's also a thing. And Mrs. Helen Elizabeth Clark, she's a New Zealand politician who served as the 37th Prime Minister of New Zealand, from 1999 to 2008. And she was the administrator. She was also the administrator of the United Nations Development Program from 2009 to 2017. From 2009 to 2017. So that's also a thing. Then Jacinda Kate Laurel Arden, she's a New Zealand politician who has served as the 40th Prime Minister of New Zealand and leader of the Labour Party since 2017. She's also the current Prime Minister of New Zealand as well, right? So that's the thing. So here, of course, the right answer is the first and second. That is Ellen Johnson Sirleaf and Helen Clark. Would be the ones who would be heading this panel. Then we have which among the following is the first bank in India to allow video know your customer. So KYC video basis पे अगर आप कर रहे हैं facility for customers opening saving banks account, right? Well, this video KYC, Kotak Mahindra Bank has introduced video KYC for new customers to open a full-fledged Kotak 811 savings account. So that's quite an interesting thing. So it's Kotak actually in this particular case. Kotak Mahindra Bank, is an Indian private sector bank. It's headquartered in Mumbai, right? The founder is Uday Kotak, and it was founded in February 2003, and it has really done quite well since then. The State Bank of India is an Indian multinational public sector banking and financial services statute body, which is something you already know, right? State Bank of India is very popular. The headquarters is in Mumbai. That's something that you have to remember. The current chairperson is Mr. Rajneesh Kumar. So this is something that you should know. It was founded on 1st of July 1955, right? So that's something that we should remember. Then we have Bank of Baroda. It's an Indian multinational public sector banking and financial services company. Its headquarters in Alkapuri, which is in Vadodara. Then the founder is Mr. Sayaji Gaikwad 3. So he's the founder, and then the chairperson is Mr. Hasmukh Adhiya, right? And it was founded on 20th of July 1908. 20th of July 1908. ठीक है ना? तो ये चीज़ है. Then we have Punjab National Bank. It's a banking and financial services bank, right? And it's headquartered in New Delhi. The current CEO of Punjab National Bank is Mr. S.S. Mallikarjuna Rao. It was founded in 19 May 1894, and it was founded actually in Lahore, Pakistan. So it was founded way before the partition itself, right? Then we have Hdfc Bank. Again, it's an Indian bank, financial services company, headquarters in Mumbai. The current CEO is Mr. Aditya Puri. So this is a name that you should remember, which is the current CEO is Mr. Aditya Puri. It was founded on August 1994, and it has been doing considerably well since then. Therefore, this video know your customer KYC was launched by Kotak Mahindra Bank. So I hope this is clear, everybody. Let's move forward. So now we have the government of India has launched Kisan credit card campaign for 1.5 crore dairy farmers. The general limit for KCC credit without collateral would be, is it going to be 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 2.6 lakh rupees, and 1.4 lakh rupees, or is it going to be 1.6 lakh rupees? As I've mentioned in the previous videos and all as well, it is important that we know, a little story behind each of the events that will help us remember a lot of things, right? So here we should just not know about KCC credit, but we also need to understand ये कौन से campaign की बात हो रही है. So the government will provide Kisan Credit Card Limited KCC to 1.5 crore dairy farmers belonging to milk unions and milk producing companies within the next 2 months. That is 1st of June to 31st of July 2020. See the kind of incredible work that is being done by this government, right? Under the dairy cooperative movement, approximately 1.7 crores farmers are associated with 230 milk unions in the country. And the general limit for KCC credit without collateral remains rupees 1.6 lakhs. So general limit for KCC credit is without collateral remains 1.6 lakhs, everybody. ठीक है ना? तो ये चीज़ है. So here the correct answer is the KCC credit without collateral would be 1.6 lakh rupees. So that is the correct answer. Then we have which is the first state to provide free high-speed broadband to poor people. Is it going to be Madhya Pradesh? Is it Kerala? Is it Rajasthan? Is it Uttar Pradesh? Or do you think it is Odisha? Well, Kerala became the first state to provide free internet for the poor, right? 20 lakh families will be benefited because of this scheme. It has not been launched as of yet. This 15 crore Kerala fiber optic network K-phone, better known as project, it will be rolled out in December. It has not been rolled out as of yet, right? So the right answer here is Kerala. Okay friends, let's look at this question. Which ministry has launched I Commit initiative? Is it Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change? Is it Ministry of Women and Child Development? Is it Ministry of Power? Or is it Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs? Or is it Ministry of Panchayati Raj? Right. So here we have, the Minister of State, Minister of State for Power and New and Renewable Energy, Mr. R.K. Singh, has actually launched the I Commit initiative on the occasion of World Environment Day. So the campaign aims to create a robust and resilient energy system in the future by moving towards energy efficiency, renewable energy and sustainable energy. And this is something which is very, very important in today's scenario, right? Because of the rise in pollution. And it's actually not that difficult. We can have so many solar power plates put up in, on the tall corporate buildings and all, and we can create some kind of a scheme, like especially the glass windows and sides and all. Also, we can put up a lot of solar powered, these things. So ये सब चीज़ें हमें करने की ज़रूरत है. So basically the Energy Efficiency Services Limited EESL will be responsible for driving the I Commit initiative. Right. The Ministry of Power is charged with overseeing electricity production and infrastructure development, including generation, transmission and delivery as well as maintenance projects. The current office holder of the ministry is Mr. R.K. Singh, who happens to be Minister of State with independent charge. Then we have Ministry of Environment and Forest, MOEF, is responsible for planning, promotion, coordinating and overseeing the implementation of India's environment and forestry policies and programs. So they also kind of enforce that, whenever a company wants to set up something in the rural areas, they have to take care of the environment as well. So the current office holders is Mr. Babul Supriyo, who happens to be the Minister of State, and Mr. Prakash Javadekar, who is the Union Minister. Right. Then we have the Ministry of Women and Child Development, which is responsible for formulation and administration of the rules and regulations and laws relating to women and child development in India. So the current office holders are, Debashri Chaudhary and Krishna Raj, who are the Minister of State. And then we have Miss Smriti Rani, the very popular, who happens to be the Union Minister as well. Right. And then, of course, we have Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which is responsible for formulation and administration of the rules and regulations and laws relating to the housing and urban development in India. Right, and the office holders are Hardeep Singh Puri, who also happens to be the Union Minister, and Narendra Singh Tomar, who also happens to be the Union Minister. Right, so ye cheez hai. Then we have Minister of Panchayati Raj, is responsible for rural development and strengthening of public Panchayati Raj institutions, PRI. The office holder happens to be Purushottam Rupali, who happens to be Minister of State, and Narendra Singh Tomar, who happens to be the Union Minister. So Narendra Singh Tomar, you can see, has multiple portfolios and he shares certain portfolios and all as well. So the I Commit initiative has been launched by the Ministry of Power. Then we have which among the following has developed magnetocaloric material that can be effectively used for cancer treatment. Right? Is it CSIR? Is it IISR? Is it NIAB? Is it ARCI? Or is it IIT Madras? Right? So basically, magnetocaloric material, a rare earth-based material that can be effectively used for cancer treatment, has been developed by scientists at the International Advanced Research Center for Powder Metallurgy and New Materials, which is ARCI. Right. So that's what this material is. right? So basically, electromagnetic fields and magnetic fields, through that, they're trying to treat cancer, and of late it has actually been proven to be quite effective, right? So let's try and understand about these organizations. So ARCI is a state-of-the-art facility for research and development in advanced material and associated processing technology. So ये जितने advanced material वगैरह जो बनते हैं ये ARCI में ही बनते हैं. It has the following objectives: development of high performance materials and process for niche market, demonstration of technologies at prototype scale, and transfer of technologies to the Indian industry. So it transfers these technologies to the Indian industry as well. ठीक है ना? तो ये चीज़ है. Clear है everybody? So have a look at it once again, right? So that's what it does. ठीक है ना? The director of ARCI happens to be Mr. G. Padmanabhan. ठीक है ना? So Mr. G. Padmanabhan, right? So that's the thing. Then we have Council of Scientific and Industrial Research, everybody, and this has emerged as the largest research and development organization in India. The research and development activities of CSIR include aerospace engineering, structural engineering, ocean and science, life sciences, metallurgical, chemical, mining, food, petroleum, leather, and environmental science. So CSIR does research on wide areas, almost everything that touches upon our lives. It has to research there. The Director General happens to be Shekhar C. Monday. So he's the Director General of this thing. Then we have Indian Institute of Science, IISc. It's a public deemed university, research university for higher education and research in science, engineering, and design and management. It is located in Bangalore, and it's quite a coveted institute as well. Center for excellence, where a lot of good research and all, actually, happens. The director happens to be Mr. Govindan Rangarajan. So that's the thing. IIT Madras, who all of us already know. Let's try and understand about National Institute of Animal Biotechnology, NIAB, is mandated towards the development of sustainability and global competitive livestock farm animals. उनको develop करने के लिए बात हो रही है for public and industry through innovative and cutting edge technology. ठीक है ना? The director of NIAB happens to be Pallu Redana. It's Pallu Redana. ठीक है ना? So here ARCI has developed this magnetocaloric material. So that's the thing. Anyway, friends, let's move forward. The Indian Space Research Organization, ISRO, has signed an agreement with Aryabhatta Research Institute of Observational Sciences, ARIES, for cooperation in the field of space situational awareness and astrophysics. ARIES is located in Uttarakhand, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, or is it Maharashtra, or is it Odisha? Let's try and understand a few things here. ISRO, we already know about that. It's a very eminent organization. It wants to harness space technology for national development while pursuing space science research and planetary exploration, right? And the director is Mr. K. Sivan, right? And he's very popular. He led the moon mission as well, even though we failed. But we were actually trying to attempt to land the lander at a more difficult position, which very few countries like Russia and US has only achieved to land there, right? India would have been the third country. It was a very risky, very huge planning and something that we were doing, but nevertheless in the future we will be successful for sure, right? So the headquarters of ISRO is in Bangalore, which we already know. Then we have Aryabhatta Research Institute of Observational Sciences, ARIES, is located in Nainital actually, and it specializes in astronomy, astrophysics, and atmospheric science. The director of ARIES happens to be Professor Dipankar Banerjee, and its headquarters in Nainital. So the headquarters of ARIES is in Uttarakhand. Nainital is in Uttarakhand, right? Which of the following international financial institutions serves as a bank for central banks? Is a Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, is a bank of international settlements, or do you think it is World Bank or International Monetary Fund? Right. Now, let's try and understand each of these organizations. So, the Federal Reserve System is the central banking system of the United States of America, and it was created on December 23, 1913, and is actually private, unlike India, which is like a government organization out there. The current chairman is Mr. Jerome Powell, right? So that's your thing. Then we have European Central Bank. It is the central bank for the euro and administers monetary policy within the eurozone, which comprises like 19 member states of the European Union, and is one of the largest monetary areas in the world. Right, euro being applied to so many countries, therefore it makes it the largest monetary areas in the world. Right. So that's the thing. The headquarters of European Central Bank is in Frankfurt, which is in Germany. Right. The current presidents are Christian Lagarde, Louis de Guindos, and Philip R. Lane. Right. And then, of course, we have the Bank for International Settlements. Its role has continuously changed over the years. Right. But it definitely acts as a bank for central banks. It is the oldest global financial institutions and operates under the auspices of international law. Right, it was founded in 1930. Its headquarters is in Basel, Switzerland. So whenever there is a conflict between banks, they tend to go to Bank for International Settlements. The leader of this particular bank happens to be Augustine Carstens. I don't know why they just call it leaders, but that's the thing. It's the Augustine Carstens. Sorry. Of course, World Bank is very popular. You already know a lot about World Bank. Right, it's an international financial institution that provides loans and grants to the government of poor countries for the purpose of pursuing capital projects. Capital as in some kind of a development project. It has two parts, two institutions within it, in the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. That actually happens to be the earlier name of World Bank as well, and the International Development Association. So IDA. It's headquartered in the headquarters is in Washington D.C., which is in the United States, and 189 countries are part of IBRD, and 173 countries are part of IDA. So under both the institutions, a country can take membership. It was founded in July 1944. Straight away after the second World War situation, when the World War was coming to an end. During that time, the current president is Mr. David R. Malpass. Right. IMF is again a very prominent organization. Many of us already know about it. So the International Monetary Fund, IMF, is an international organization working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world, while periodically depending on the World Bank for its resources. Right, IMF played a key role during the 2008 recession. Its headquarters again is in Washington D.C., and it has about 189 countries as members. It was founded in December 1949, and the current managing director happens to be Kristalina Georgieva. Right, the chief economist of IMF happens to be Geeta Gopinath. So this name, I guess, is more familiar to us. So anyway, the international financial institution serves as bank for central banks is going to be option 3, which is Bank for International Settlement. Right. Who among the following has signed as brand ambassador of India Infoline Finance Limited? Right. IFL is a huge non-banking company with 36,000 crores in asset under management. That's pretty huge, and it is Mr. Rohit Sharma, who happens to be a cricketer as well. He's the one who has been signed in as the brand ambassador for India Infoline Finance Limited. So I hope, friends, you like this session. There was a lot to learn about. Try and revise as much as possible. The more you revise, the better you get at the game. So with this message, I'd like to end today's session. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.